Okay, then let's move along to action item 4. For possible action, discussion, deliberation on the nomination and election of the ABTB chair officers.
I make a motion that we elect for our chairman, John Bosta.
Any seconds on that?
We could second that, sure.
I could second it for discussion.
We got Richard second.
I'll second, sure, if he's willing to do it.
I have concerns there. Mr. Bosta's hearing is not what it should be to run this meeting.
He may, I'm not voting for him, I just think.
No, I'm just saying discussion. So I think that we need to rethink that position.
For your comment, if you have the microphone to a volume where I can hear what people say, there's no problem. The problem is when you have board members sitting here at the table talking across to one another and they are not speaking on the microphone so that it goes on to the recording.
I still have issues.
I'm very capable of running the meeting, and our ordinance simply says the chairman conducts the meeting and has no other power other than what is given to him by this board. We have had in the past chairmen who think they are the mayor of the town and they dictate, and that is not the job of the chairman. And if you take a look at the town codification, that ordinance is codified in the town codification, and any ordinance that this board passes has to amend that town code. We need to follow the law, and in most cases, the chairman and other people at these meetings have not followed the NRSs that are established for an elected board.
Okay, Mr. Bosta, my point is I still don't think you can handle this. I think there's issues with your temper, and we've seen it many times over. So I don't think you're the right person to be chairman of this
That's
office.
fine, Deborah. You also have the same temper and problem of wanting to run the show.
If we're still under discussion,
Yes.
and I hope this doesn't.
We're still under discussion. I hope this doesn't go too long. Our job is to act on the wishes of the citizens and add, of course, our own judgment and our own background knowledge of the situation. And I've been, I'm willing to comment on both. I've been talking to citizens, and John and I have both been up here at this table since 2011?
Yeah.
And so we've been watching the operation of this board for a long time. Principally, I have trouble hearing if there's two conversations going on at the same time myself. But principally, to me, John's qualification is he's, after a long history of board chairmen who think that it's also their job to run the office and run the town, I'm nominating John because he knows better. He knows the limitations of the office of board chair. It's not to run the office, and it's not to run the town, it's to run the meeting. And so my nomination stands.
Public comment.
Please.
Please do. We need all the advice we can get.
Good evening, County Commissioner Bruce Jabor. With all due respect to the Vice Chair and to the board members, when the motion is made for such election, the person that's being nominated is not allowed to make the second motion for themselves. They are allowed, however, to vote for themselves if it's carried.
Richard made the
The,
second.
Trevor made the nomination, I seconded it.
Can't hear you.
I believe John seconded the motion.
No, actually, Mr. Clausen did for discussion at this point.
Okay, I stand corrected.
That's all right, sir.
Thank you.
No, we need help.
You're right, Mr. Jabor. I was sitting between them, and it kind of came from both directions, but we sorted it out.
Right now, we have one nomination,
And you seconded.
and I seconded it. I can also be willing to nominate Bev here. She seems to want to do the job, so we need to choose between chairman. And if you will second, then we have to simply vote. We have 4 of us to vote. I don't know how we would do a tiebreaker, but
Well, I think, yeah,
I have no problem with either one of them. So
it would, to answer your question, it could easily fail 2-2.
I can't hear what you're saying.
To answer your question, Richard, it would easily fail 2-2, and I'll invite more public comment. Some of you people have advised me,
opinions?
but please, to avoid a 2-2, perhaps some more public comment.
Please, if anybody has an idea who would be the best chairman, please put your input now.
Jean Adams, ADAMS for the record. What I would like to say is, first of all, I kind of question the fact that I thought Trevor was the acting vice chair at the present time. And I was wondering why he wasn't running the meeting.
I'll answer that question, and yes, I've been vice chair for the last 2 years. I presided over the meeting that got canceled last week, and I didn't want to get into a tussle with Deborah. She wanted to call it to order, and I didn't see any point in challenging
You
her.
asked me and I said I'd do it.
Yeah, there you go.
You asked me, I said I'd do it.
You're quite right. I've been vice chair for the last 2 years, so I was the obvious choice to call the meeting to order and get us to agenda item 4.
Trevor, the question.
I'm sorry. I also feel that Deborah's comments are quite a bit discriminatory.
I didn't understand what she said.
She said I'm discriminatory against Mr. Basta.
Pat Minshall, MINSHALL. You might not know, but I was very outspoken when both Deborah and a bit when Richard and John were voted to be put on the town board. But I do believe that John is the best person. He knows how to run the board, and he doesn't go off in tangents when he runs the board. He's been vice chairman of the town board on numerous occasions, and every time he was vice chairman, he ran the board. He ran the meeting, and he did not go off in his NRS tangents like he does at the county commissioners. So therefore, I really do believe John is the best person. Thank you.
Then we'll take a vote.
I agree.
Richard?
I will, on advice of the public, vote for John Boston.
Okay. Trevor?
Trevor, aye.
Deborah, no.
John Basta, aye.
Okay, Mr. Basta will be the chairman. Next
Starting
one
next
is
one.
the vice chairman.
I'd like to nominate Trevor for that one. Unless he refuses.
I can't hear
We need a second for discussion.
I'll second.
Thank you. I've had plenty of weeks to think about this. The constellation of officers that I'd like to see is John as chair and myself as clerk. Having been on the board most of the last 10 years, I'd like to get back in there. I was clerk to the board 2011, 2012, 2013, and I'd like to go back in there. So at the pleasure of the board, I'd like to decline vice chair and hope to be nominated as clerk to the board.
At this point, I don't feel qualified, so I will then not change my nomination to Beverly.
Okay,
Anyone second?
Yeah, if you're changing your nomination for vice chair to Deb, then
Deb,
yes, I'll
yeah.
second that. Thank you.
Deb, thank you. Sorry, Deb.
okay. Vote?
Deb, aye, and Richard?
Trevor, aye.
Mr. Costa?
John, I.
Okay, aye.
I nominate Trevor Govey for town clerk.
Second for discussion.
Thank you.
Thank you, that's the job I want. It's the most time-consuming job, and sometimes it's the ugliest job because you get into too many things. I won't name the specific problems I'll want to look for and help within there. And I'll be relying on Deborah, because she has spent more time in the office. Clerk to the board is principally invoices and watching the money. And I'll need a lot of help, thank you.
Good job on that, by the way.
Okay,
I would like to add that Trevor has been doing the job admirably de facto, and I don't see why he shouldn't continue. So, I agree.
okay. Did we vote?
Not yet, but we should.
Vote.
John's chairing now.
John?
Okay,
Oh, already?
go ahead, John.
I'll call for the question. All of those in favor? Trevor?
Trevor, aye.
Deborah?
Aye.
Richard?
Aye.
John, I.
Thank you.
Passes 4-0.
Thanks, guys.
The next item on the agenda is for possible action, discussion, deliberation to approve the minutes of December